to my African friends, my current contacts, customers, potential clients. Some of you know me well, some of you don't. I'm making this video specifically for the great people of the continent of Africa. And I say great people because I have a particular affinity to African people. I worked with them a lot, and I kind of relate to who they are. I relate to their soul, to their nature, to their humanity. And I know it's not all beautiful, but I focus on that because these African people, the ones I know, have a rich depth and soul. And this is very unique in today's world. So let me introduce myself. My name is Eli Harari, the Thinking Coach. I'm a specialist for leadership and a particular brand of leadership, one that actually prides itself upon building a place, a community, an environment where other people can succeed in. Because in my book, according to my history and experience, which is vast, leaders are those people who are able to bring human skills to what they do, to talk in a way and to be in a way and to be trustworthy in a way that other people can feel safe to be at their best. And unfortunately, that's not what we see in leadership today or have seen for a long time. So this subject of leadership, especially post-COVID, needs an uplift, needs an updating, and needs to be thought of in a different way, and one that actually understands the function, the honorable function that leadership represents. So very simply put, I'm making this specific video for my African friends because I think they need to hear straight from me some fundamentals about leadership, because I'm starting to work with different nations in Africa and build a grassroots of leadership coming from the bottom upwards. And I can see the difficulty in that. I can see that there is inspiration, but it lacks the order to sustain it, to get it going, to bring it to a point where I can actually come over and instigate a high-level leadership function with, say, 100 people in each country. I'm currently working with 3 different countries to do that. And the way I want you to think about leadership is that leadership is not just a word or a title or a rank where somebody commands other people. That's not what it is. Unfortunately, it got that way. But leadership has got 2 key words, and it's by example. And let me say something to you about that, because example of what? Because everything is example. And as parents, we are example to our children. And as leaders, we're example to the people who work for us, with us, because they think that if we allow ourselves to be in a certain level, they can do the same. And unfortunately, today it's become a very cynical thing where people don't really respect leadership, and leadership uses its force to control people in a wrong way. And what I'm proposing is something different. Now, in my record, I'm partly Israeli, and I live in the United States. I've been a military officer, and I've had to learn what it is to be a real leader. And that meant to actually cause a situation with my reports, with my soldiers, where they could trust me, firstly, for being a human being that cares for them. And a word is a word. You know, it's funny. In Israel, they have what's called circumcision. And the way it's understood verbally, it's called the covenant of the word. That's how you would translate it. Now, they translated it to circumcision, which you know what it is. But actually, the 2 words are the covenant of the word, which means when a person says something, they do it. They don't just say it. And they do it in the time that it needs to be done, whether they like it or not. Now, I can tell you, this doing things at the time it needs to be done, whether a person likes it or not, is the foundation of leadership success. So many words have been spoken that were empty words, never to see the light of day in terms of action. And this is the first thing that I entrust people with, that I work on the skill of their intention matching their actions in the right timing, and not finding excuses and not finding all kinds of things that they didn't do it and so I don't do it. That's not leadership. Leadership leads from the front. And you cannot wait for anyone to change, because it's about you. And if you change and you set a different note and tone, people will follow that and eventually perhaps become the very leaders that they want to become. So it begins by actually creating an environment of people where they can succeed in whatever unique skills they have. Now, it sounds simple, but it doesn't happen. I can tell you that here in the United States, I go to different organizations and it's really toxic. People can't work with each other. They fight and they are passive aggressive and they have things behind the back and all kinds of innuendos, and they get sucked into a void, all of them. And here's what happens. Things don't happen in that void. Performance lacks quite a bit. Maybe 20% of what a person can do because of the negative environment. So the first thing for me in leadership is to show people to lead their own life in such a way that when they lead others, they are creating an environment of success, of inspiration, of inner happiness, of exactness, of honor, and a whole host of skills, such as the ability to think, the ability to think strategically, the ability to think creatively, out of the box. And here is why it's important. We live in a different world today. We cannot use the past as our benchmark. Past is gone. This is a new generation. You've got the millennials and Gen Z, which are becoming the leadership of this world. They need from the elder ones an example of what it means to be a leader that loves people, firstly, who is able to stay above the negativity and become positive in the way they think, because it's all positive, folks. Listen, I'm a very religious person. I believe in God, but my belief in God is practical. God gave me the voice in which I'm talking to you now, and I can use that voice for many things. Unfortunately, many people use it for the wrong things. I decided to use my God-given voice and thinking in such a way that I help other people to be bright about their own life. In other words, if something gave me the gift of voice and words and the ability to think and translate it and then transfer that energy, and you think, what an amazing thing would do that. That can be used either for negative or positive terms. I decided to use it for positive terms because I want to glorify that which gave me the gift, which means I want to glorify God. And here is words that may strike you interesting. I want to make God proud of me in the way that I carry on. And I want you to make God proud of you in the fact that you firstly develop as people, as leaders, to be the very thing that God would have wanted you to be. Because we all talk about God somewhere, but God is in us. And this planet is our responsibility. We have choice, and we cannot deny the choice. And that choice, as far as I'm concerned, is to glorify through developing skills in ourselves the very thing that gave it to us, because it is keeping quiet and it's watching us. It's watching us what we're doing. And you know it's watching us because people love to be on camera, don't they? Here in the United States, you see games. I love to watch basketball from time to time. And every so often in the break, they have a camera going around and people suddenly see themselves on camera and they go, happy, wow, I'm on camera. I think we're on camera all the time. I think something watches us. And when you see these people happy to be on camera, it's just exactly the confirmation of that. So why don't we understand that we are on camera all the time? But use it now to translate our own development, trust in the God that gave us life, trust in ourselves to give it the best expression we can be. So if we need to learn to communicate better, then we do that. We develop that skill. And if we learn to think better, we do that with what gave us to think, what God gave us to think with. and we show and we start to connect to much better parts in ourselves. That's the foundation of where I come from. And I'm saying this to my African friends. Dear friends, listen, Africa has a lot of potential, but I gotta tell you, people don't believe in themselves and they get into fights, tribal fights and power fights. And it's like the rest of the world, but with Africa, it's very costly because Africa is a nation with, it's a continent with great hope that has not been achieved yet. So part of my leadership skill, I dedicate to Africa, where actually the money that I get from it is much less than I get in the West, much less. But I still do it because I believe in this nation, and I believe in the very human aspect that smiles a lot in Africa, because I've been in many seminars that I've done there, and always people smile and they're open, but they don't believe in themselves. And I've seen it a few times. They seem to want to be supplied by the West. And I'm saying, hey, Africa can be its own leader nation, and put the squabbles aside and learn to develop a leadership group. And this is where I'm coming from. A leadership group that actually sends a message and a signal to the younger generation, the middlies, even the oldies, that help can be found here. Because, folks, the job of a leader is to help people do their job, not to do their job. That's managers do that. The leaders, they drive the people. So they need a lot of human skills of, as I said, building teams, cohesive teams around them, increasing the capacity of people to perform, showing them that they're only human, but because they're human, they can make mistakes and learn from them, and create an environment where people are happy to come to work, believe in the future. And in this belief, there is a great gift. You know, the word belief says be life, which means live it, do it. Don't just believe it here. Translate it from this belief to the actions. So I'm in the process now of creating groundswell groups in different countries. And if you don't know me yet and you see this video, you can reach out to me. Through Zoom, we're doing 2 sessions a month for people, for up to 100 people at a time. And in that 2 times a month, for every 2 times, people pay each $50 for every month. And that's very little. But I understand in Africa, that little can be meaningful. But they invest in themselves $50 a month for 2 sessions with me through Zoom. And the idea is to lead to me coming over within 3, 6 months, even up to a year, and then do a week training for all these people I worked with over Zoom. So I'm sending this invitation outwards because it seems to start to happen with 3 countries. And I'm thinking, hey, something is knocking on the door. And I'm offering this to you. So I'm offering 2 Zoom sessions of 1.5 hours each every month, with a core group from anywhere between 20 to 100 people, each person paying $50 for those 2 sessions. And they guaranteed to do it each month in advance. I'm offering this to you for you to invest it in your life. It's just an offer, but it's up to you. My experience in the military and teaching people leadership for over 25 years allows me to respond to actual needs that I meet. And because of it, I work with many more tools than most people do. Because I come from myself. Even this video, I'm coming from a different direction than most people understand, which involves business, involves human life, involves the planet, involves the future of the nation, and involves the God that gives it all to us. And I want to extend this offer to you because I believe in Africa. But you've got to believe in you, and you've got to translate it first to willingness and order, because without order, people are going nowhere. Order is a responsibility. It's timing. A word is a word. A discipline is a discipline. And just because a week or 2 pass by, nothing changes. You build on it. That's where it begins. So this is Eli Harari, the Thinking Coach. I'm signing off this short video. I thought this would be unique to my African friends. I'll send it over to you and make what you will from it. But reach out and know that I'm here for you. Totally. God bless. All the best. Let me just add one more thing to my African friends. Practically speaking, I'm looking for a focal person in each of the countries that I can work with and through. I will mentor this person or two or three people or four people as a core group to get them to a situation to recruit people that they feel confident about, that they want to be a core group of potential leaders into the future. That's how it will work. And we're building it from the ground patiently, one step at a time. And when it happens, it will take off like mushrooms. It will take off like fire. But we need to put the fundamentals in, the basic. Without the basics, nothing lasts. And I'm in a leadership infinite game, not a short term. Infinite is long term, it's forever, because I want to replace myself with others of kind who want to see this world succeed. But we got to start like a seed from the small, build it up. And you know, when a seed flowers, it brings many seeds into life. And this is a process, organic process. It's a natural process. That's how it works. We as humans think we're better than that, but we're not better than God. We need to follow the natural laws. And when we do it organically, naturally, it happens and it lasts forever. Because whatever God is forever. And we are the representatives of the forever here. Let's not make it a finite game. Let's make it an infinite game. And I say game because most people don't even understand what is the game of leadership. They do not know what it is. They put on the word leadership something totally wrong. We're here to update it and cause the light to come to people's eyes. That they can believe through their actions that actually they're doing God's will here on earth in the outer edge of darkness. Beautiful planet that we need to look after. Beautiful people that we need to nourish. And the land that was given to us for a brief time, we need to honor it and leave it better than we got it. Because we are only guests here. And that was what guests do. They leave places better than they found them. So I'm adding this little bit because I felt that maybe you're not clear what to do. The thing to do is to reach out to me, whoever you are, and we'll have a chat and we'll examine the potential of growing a leadership core group in your country from which great things can happen in the future. It's practical, it's real, and I'm here for you. Eli Harari, the thinking coach, signing off with great promise, hope, and inspiration, and belief in that which gave us all.